Thanks, Godfrey. The Bahamas Public Service is in the middle of some sweeping changes, and the whole effort is to improve the service that's delivered to members of the public. To tell you about this initiative, we welcome the Deputy Permanent Secretary with the Department of Public Service, Antoinette Thompson, and from the Service Improvement Unit, Michelle Bartlett. Ladies, welcome.
Welcome and thank you for having us.
Now, if you would ask any member of the public about the level of service received by them from a government department or government utility for that matter, it's not going to get a high grade. But I want to know from your perspective, where do you think there's room for improvement?
Well, when the Bahamas government initiated the service improvement program by way of customer satisfaction surveys. So we know from a scientific measured viewpoint that there's definitely need for improvement in our services. It's sweeping as it relates to the front office and the back office. We're not just talking about the signage and the aesthetics, we're also talking about systems, processes, and procedures. Those functions that speaks to timeliness, credibility, and competence.
Interesting. Now, you began by saying that there was some kind of survey. So you took you gathered some empirical evidence then to point you in whatever direction you want to go.
Like I said, the Bahamas is among pioneers in the region that have taken a measured scientific approach to service improvement. This approach will inform our decision making based on the data that we collected, the empirical evidence.
Interesting. Is this, Michelle, is this different depending on the government agency that you're dealing with, this empirical data, or is it across the board?
Well, the data across the board is the same. It has to be because we're measuring it. However, the agencies do have differences. So because of those differences, you would see some variations.
Give us some of the details about how this is going to take shape.
Okay, you're talking about methodology. Initially, there's a measurement. Secondly, you have employee participation, which relates to the service improvement teams, which were formed in each of the pilot agencies. These have been mobilized in all 6 of them.
Now, which agencies consist of the pilot agencies?
Okay, we have the Department of Public Service, which is the lead agency. We have the Registrar General's Department. We have the Department of Road Traffic. We have the Department of Physical Planning. We have the Building Control Department. And we have the Road Traffic Department. I think I've given all of them.
We did the Passport Office.
Passport Office, yes, Passport Office.
The Passport Office, of course. I'm sure some members of the public would be happy to know that. But within that, those departments, you form teams.
Yes.
Yes, we have service improvement teams. Each agency also has a service improvement charter, a pledge, a commitment, a promise, a contract, if you will, as to the type of service that we intend to deliver. We also have targeted areas in the service improvement plan, and that is basically employee-oriented, and I'll let Michelle speak to that.
So tell us, Michelle.
Okay, with the service improvement plan, we have set up teams, as Ms. Thompson just said, and moving forward with the program, we've designed a tier system where we're going to target training throughout the program for different levels, top management, middle management, non-management staff, and we propose to move forward with that. We've already begun the first agency, the Department of Public Services, as the lead agency, and we've decided as well to roll out additional training throughout the service. We're going to, in the Public Service Center for Human Resource Development, we've decided to move forward with training at all levels in the training program. And we're encouraging departments to take advantage of the training in a wide variety of topics. And that will allow public officers to buy into the program, to take additional measures, if you will. We've also canvassed international training. We have a program in the United Kingdom that's made an offering to the Bahamas government.
Public Administration International.
And we're recommending that to service improvement teams to take advantage of as well.
What are the specific goals of the service improvement teams? or targets?
Well, the mandate of the Service Improvement Program is achieving significant quantifiable improvement in customer satisfaction. So you're looking at a holistic approach, a continuous cycle, if you will, of improvement. I think we've been somewhat remiss in not mentioning that there's a sustainability element. She talked about training, but there's also monitoring and evaluation.
Oh,
that has to be part and parcel of what we do, because we want to ensure that there are outcomes and that these outcomes are sustained.
So the monitoring happens after we would have gone through this exercise?
No, it's a continuous cycle, ongoing. So it's ongoing. It's periodic, and like I said, it's a holistic approach.
Let's talk about some of those goals, though, that you mentioned. You wanted to see some quantifiable changes. Are there any specific goals? For example, we're going to turn around this document in X amount of days, or how are the goals set up?
No, the charter itself speaks to the goals for each agency. And right. I'm sure you're familiar with the acronym SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realizable, and time-bound. So it speaks to the key service drivers, courtesy, competence, understanding the customer, accessibility, security.
Yeah,
so inherent in each charter, in that contract, are those service deliverables.
And what happens if during this time then we don't get the deliverables that we're talking about now? How do we give the feedback?
Well,
we've put in place several venues for feedback from the customer. We have placed in the agency's suggestion box, comment box, cards, and these are means by which we will gather information as to how the program is progressing and whether they are meeting their goals. Also, we propose to roll out more scientific measures, perhaps, whereby we can poll the public or the client as to how the chart is progressing, whether they are meeting their goals.
Now, is this for just a fixed time period, or is this something that you're hoping to instill in perpetuity?
Well, the program, the first phase was completed in December of last year. This phase is intended to be completed in December of this year, and we intend to cascade it throughout the public service to other key service delivery agencies.
What's your time frame like?
With regards to
when you
cascading, or?
Yes. When you finish this aspect, you finish one phase, and then you have, I would imagine, more phases.
Incrementally, I would imagine we go with a 6-month period. For the necessary intervention, for the on-the-ground employee participation, we go in increments of 6 months.
And what are your expectations at the end of the day?
To see significant, quantifiable improvement.
Significant, quantifiable improvement.
Customer satisfaction, yes.
I keep getting to that word, quantifiable, but I guess that's part
the
of...
measurement element of it. The customer satisfaction surveys.
It will be remeasured to ensure that it's quantifiable.
At the end of the day, from your point of view with the Service Improvement Unit, what are your expectations? After everything is done, all the phases implemented, the cascading done, the quantifiable measurements in place, what is it that you expect?
We expect to see that the customer is satisfied, the internal and external customer, that is. We expect to see processes that are effectively run. We expect to see that financial resources are being properly utilized. And we also expect to see that the government would be networking with other agencies within the region globally.
Now,
if I may, value implies excellence, Romy, and quality is an experience. So at the end of the day, we expect those two components to equate to customer satisfaction.
Say no more. We expect to see you ladies again on Bahamas at Sunrise. Hopefully we'll get an update. Good luck to both of you.
And it would be our pleasure to be here. Absolutely.
Thank you for taking part.
Thank
Watching
you
Bahamas at Sunrise, where we expect you to stay tuned. We'll have more after this.